Okay, let's dive straight in. We've had an absolutely packed couple of days in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, some really interesting games.
Exactly. And forget just the final scores. We're going way beyond that. We've got the results, sure, but we've also dug into some real analysis to
Hmm.
figure out what really mattered. So, our mission here, pull out the key moments, maybe the surprising stuff, things that tell us something about where these teams are right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyone can glance at a box score. We want to understand the flow, the big plays, the individual moments that actually swung these games.
Right. So let's jump straight to April 28th. Yankees and Blue Jays. Yankees take it 5-1. Jarrett Cole, I mean, his performance really stands
Well,
out.
absolutely. 7 innings, just a 1 run, 8 strikeouts. But it's more than the numbers, right?
Yeah.
His slider command, especially against those Jays lefties like Vladdy Jr. and Bichette, it was pinpoint. He had them chasing stuff low and away all game.
Right.
Really messed with their timing. They just couldn't get comfortable. Yeah.
And then Aaron Judge, that two-run homer in the third, that felt pretty big in a 5-1 game.
It was huge. Not just the 2 runs, but it kind of shifted the whole feel of the game.
Yeah.
Ryu was pitching okay for Toronto up till then.
Right.
Judge goes deep, and suddenly Ryu maybe has to press a bit more. And it put immediate pressure on the Blue Jays hitters to answer back against Cole, which, well,
Which they couldn't.
yeah.
Okay, switching over then. Phillies and Cubs, another pretty tight one, 3-1 Philly. And Zach Wheeler was also dealing.
He really was. 10 Ks over 8 innings, just 1 run. It's pretty impressive seeing guys like Cole and Wheeler just carve through tough lineups like that.
Yeah.
Wheeler's fastball had that late life, great velocity, and he mixed in the slider really effectively. Kept the Cubs totally off balance.
Did the Cubs have chances, though?
Yeah, they got some guys on base here and there, but Wheeler just slammed the door every time.
Yeah.
Usually with a big strikeout when he needed it.
And the big hit for the Phils, Bryce Harper, that RBI double in the sixth, those are the moments, huh?
Exactly. In a low-scoring game like that where both starters are on fire, that one extra base hit, that's your separation.
Right.
The Cubs, meanwhile, they're probably looking back at those runners left on base, those high-leverage spots.
Yeah.
They just couldn't get the key hit.
Okay, then we get to the Mets and Nationals, and wow, the scoreboard, 19-5. What on earth happened there?
Huh? Yeah, that was just an offensive onslaught. Brandon Nimmo tying the Mets record with 9 RBIs. That's just incredible.
9 RBIs, that's wild.
It really is. And think about how he did it, a grand slam and a 3-run homer. Just constantly coming up with runners on and delivering.
That's a career day, easily.
Oh, for sure. And it wasn't only Nimmo. The whole team hit. 21 hits total for the Mets.
21.
Wow.
Yeah.
McNeil had multiple hits. Vientos chipped in. It just showed what that offense can do when it all clicks. Not just power, but stringing hits together, constant pressure. The Nats pitching just had no answers.
Okay, let's shift gears. April 29th, Twins versus Guardians. This one wasn't close. 11-1 Minnesota.
No, not at all. Total domination by the Twins. And Joe Ryan on the mound for them, kind of like Cole and Wheeler the day before. Just brilliant.
What were his numbers?
9 strikeouts, 1 run, 7 innings. Excellent fastball command. And that splitter was generating a lot of swings and misses.
And Carlos Correa, he had the big blow, a 3-run homer.
Yep, in the 4th inning. That basically put the game away right there.
Yeah, takes the pressure off.
Completely. Twins were already up,
Yeah.
but that homer just broke it wide open, allowed them to kind of cruise. It was a really balanced win for Minnesota. Great starting pitching, timely hitting all through the lineup.
All right, then a much closer one. Orioles and Yankees. O's win 4-3. Sounds like a good battle.
It was. Classic tight game. Cedric Mullins with a walk-off RBI single in the bottom of the 9th.
Clutch.
Huge moment. That kind of win can really galvanize a team.
Yeah.
And you got to credit the Orioles' resilience, right?
Yeah.
Battling back after the Yankees tied it up.
And Nestor Cortez, he pitched well for New York, didn't he? Even though they lost.
He did. Solid outing. Kept the O's pretty quiet for most of the game. But sometimes, even a quality start isn't quite enough.
Yeah.
Those late innings, one mistake, one clutch hit, that's the difference. Mullins' single just overshadowed a good Cortez performance.
Okay, Reds and Cardinals now. Reds win 3-1. And again, seems like pitching was key. Hunter Green for Cincinnati.
Green was very impressive. 7 Ks, 1 run, 6 innings. The Cardinals hitters, they just looked uncomfortable against that high velocity and the sharp slider he's got.
It feels like we're seeing a lot of these young arms really stepping up.
We really are. And Green's ability to hold that velocity deep into the game, that was a big factor here too.
And offensively for the Reds, Jonathan India,
Yeah.
his 2-run double was the difference.
That's right. In another game where runs were tough to come by, that one swing in the fifth gave the Reds the breathing room they needed.
So the Cardinals kind of struggled against Green's stuff.
Yeah, they'll probably be looking at tape, figuring out how to approach guys throwing that hard next time around.
All right, Astros and Tigers. Houston wins 8-5. Sounds like Yordan Alvarez had himself a day.
Oh yeah, big time. 2 homers, 4 RBIs. I mean, when Alvarez locked in like that,
He can carry them.
he really can. And it's not just the power, it's driving in runs when guys are on base.
Yeah.
Just a huge offensive force.
And Framber Valdez, he got the win. Solid start.
Yep, pretty solid. 3 runs over 7 innings. When your offense puts up 8 runs, that's usually going to be enough.
Right.
Valdez gave him that stability, let the bats do the work. The Tigers' pitching just couldn't quite hold down that Astros lineup.
Okay, last one. Dodgers and Marlins. This sounds like it was maybe the most exciting. Dodgers win 7-6. A real nail-biter.
It really was.
Yeah.
Went back and forth right till the end. Mookie Betts, huge 2-run homer in the 8th.
That was the difference.
That turned out to be the decisive blow, yeah.
Yeah.
In a game with multiple lead changes, getting that late parry surge, that's often what does it.
And Matt Sauer held on for the Dodgers at the end.
He did, yeah. Managed to shut down a late Marlins push.
Yeah.
But you also have to give credit to Sandy Alcantara for Miami.
Right, even in a loss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He pitched well, but sometimes the other team just finds a way, Betts got him. It just highlights how competitive things are. Strong pitching doesn't always guarantee a win.
So looking back at these 2 days then, some definite themes popping up. Dominant starting pitching seems like a big one.
For sure. We saw several aces just dealing. Cole, Wheeler, Ryan, Green.
Right. And then clutch hitting. In those close games, like the Orioles win or the Reds win, that one big hit was everything.
Absolutely crucial. And then you had the flip side, those offensive blowouts, like the Mets game.
18 runs?
It shows the different ways teams can win. Power, pitching, timely hitting.
And lots of tight finishes, too. The Orioles, Yankees, Dodgers, Marlins games decided right at the end.
Exactly. It's fascinating, isn't it? Some teams ride the race, others slug their way to a win, some grind it out. It really speaks to the depth of talent and different strategies across the league right now.
So thinking about all this, these results, these standout moments, it definitely makes you wonder what's next, right? Are there certain matchups coming up that suddenly look way more interesting now? What storylines might start to build off these games? And, what does this little 2-day snapshot maybe hint at for these teams going forward? Feels like we've just seen the start of some potentially big narratives this season.